Ding,
Nope.
ding, ding, ding. No,
No.
you really need
No.
the audio.
I really need the audio. I really
All
need
right,
the
all right, all
audio to
right, all
get
right.
in the right mindset, to get hyped as all heck for the All of a Sudden podcast, brought to you by 107 Productions on YouTube. That
Hey,
channel is 107 Productions on YouTube. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
what's up, Joe? So obviously, you guys know us. We're joined today by the Weeboos boys from the Weeboos podcast.
The
It's me. What
WBBs.
up?
We
It's me,
got
Vito.
we got Vito and we got George over here.
What's up, homie?
What up, guys? This week we were talking about the winter animes and whether or not there's what is it? Skip or a miss or something?
Yeah, basically, whether they're worth the watch or not, with the upcoming season, you get a lot of different shows, so it's nice to see the variety.
A
Yeah,
little history lesson for you guys. Actually, we did team up with Weeboos. I think a couple months ago. We
I believe they were
joined
like
them on
number
their show.
52.
Yeah, yeah, 50 something. We showed up on their show. They showed up on ours, and I thought it was a swimming success. So it's cool to have them
Yeah,
back.
definitely. It was honestly really good to have you guys, and then this past Sunday it was also good to have you again. Cause it's always fun hanging out with you guys. You guys are always a blast to have on.
Hell yeah.
what
You
he
guys
said.
too. Huh? Well, anyways, guys, I know we're a couple days away from it. I know, but I just kind of want to knock this out real quick. Definitely want to give a birthday shout out to Betty White, who hits 99 this week.
What a woman.
Oh, wasn't it
What a
today?
woman!
Was it her birthday today?
Her birthday was on, I believe, Sunday.
Oh, really? Oh, damn. Here I was fucking like turning on the candles on the cake and shit.
Ready to blow
Crazy
them out.
date.
I mean, dude, she does pretty fucking good for her age. I mean, she's still acting here and there. She makes like cupcakes with Snoop Dogg. Like that's the life to live, bro.
Does she really, or is that Martha
Is that,
Stewart?
yeah, I think that's Martha
Oh
Stewart.
wait. I mean, I don't doubt she doesn't make cupcakes with Snoop Dogg either. Like she's cool.
Speaking of Snoop Dogg, just real briefly, I don't know if you guys are wrestling fans, but he gave the most abysmal frog splash on a recent wrestling show, like 2 weeks ago. Snoop, my guy, you're like 50 years old. Just don't get on the top rope. What are you doing? He's like
Was
7 feet tall, 50 years old, 12 pounds. He's jumping
12
off the top
pounds.
rope.
it looked like he was already on the ground before he even jumped off because he's that tall, dude. Like his feet were already touching the ground before he could even like get halfway into
Yeah.
the frog splash.
That's pretty much how he landed. It was just like feet and then topple over on top of the guy.
What was it on WCW, right? Or was it
No, it was AEW.
AEW? That was actually a lot of fun though. You could tell that he was, having a good time, having a blast. Obviously, like, I don't think they let him get too injured, but it was still pretty funny.
I mean, dude, like he did the rap game for like the longest time. He did what he needed to do, and now he's just on vacation. I mean, what do you do after you've literally like dominated the rap game for a good minute? Survived it, and now you're 50 years old. You're making cupcakes with Martha Stewart and chilling with Betty White, and now you're doing
Jumping
WWE.
off top ropes.
Jumping
Yeah,
off top
exactly.
rope.
Like, what else do you want as a 50-year-old man? Like.
Actually, the other day, I'm pretty sure it was Snoop Dogg. What happened was that someone was selling air or something like that, like cans of air, and he was all like tripping out because he's like, people would sell this, like people would buy this stuff, and it was like some guy that was like basically, I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of places like have like oxygen, like they'll sell oxygen, and
You can buy like little containers, right? Where it comes with like a little face mask at the top, and you just
I was about to say, is this like that movie Spaceballs where the president is like cracking open Perry air and like sniffing it?
Basically. Have you ever gone to Las Vegas? They do it a lot where they sell like scented air. And you sit down.
Oh yeah.
It's similar to that,
They,
right?
I think they have one in New Mexico too, in Ruidoso. I think there's a little air bar that you can
Yeah,
go
Oh
to.
that
yeah.
I think me and Justine actually did it the last time we were in Vegas. We got stopped by this one lady, and she was kind of just she gave us like a free thing, but like the whole time we were there, we were getting like
She gave you
sold on.
free air.
Yeah, she gave us free air. It was supposed to be like energizing and supposed to help you like not have a hangover and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, whatever, it's fine. We've been drinking a bit, so I don't want to have a hangover. So I'll do the little hair of the dog or whatever. But the whole time she was just basically trying to sell us this thing, which she succeeded in, obviously. I mean, Justine loves this thing though. Like it looks like a little iPad thing, but
iPad, yeah, iPad.
well, I don't know, MP3 player or whatever the hell. And I keep wanting to show my laptop, but the camera's over here. But really, like what you do is you stick it onto like certain parts of your body, and it like massages you. It's nice. I'll give it that. But
Oh, it uses like electro pulses, right?
yeah, and it's weird because like if you put them on your like right here on the base of your neck, your shoulders like pick up without you even like having to do it. So you start doing this, and it
That
feels
reminds me, it's still like similar technology when you're trying to like have that simulated like giving birth. Have you guys ever seen that? Where like
yeah.
they'll put like those like patches like on your stomach and like they're supposed to simulate like the pain of giving birth. That's what it reminded me of, dude.
How much to put it on your dingaling, Julian, right now for the viewers? I mean, obviously not show your dingaling, just slap a patch on it and then just let it ride.
I don't know, Joe, how much you got? Look into your pocket right now.
I got that Biden check. I finally got my debit card
Oh.
actually after a freaking month.
Did you call Chase or whatever?
I did, and they finally got it back to me. I got the
I'm
special
telling you, man.
edition Darth Vader chase
Hell
card.
yeah, those
That's
that's
way
the
to
one to
go,
get,
bro.
man.
Honestly, dude, like you either go Star Wars or go home, right?
Yeah. Because I have the Mickey, or I used to have the Mickey Mouse one, but I swapped it out for Vader too because I was like, no, that thing looks a lot cooler. It's this
Dude,
nice
it's
like
so
slick
nice.
black.
Yeah.
So
So
I'll give
nice.
you $3.50.
If I slap it on
we're
right
gonna
now,
make it.
a
We're gonna make a
350,
collector.
350.
about 350. I don't even know if it's charged because she kind of used it up yesterday.
Damn, bro.
What a woman.
Meanwhile, I'm over here stuck with the DCU. What is it called? The Chihuahuas logo on.
Hey. We love the Chihuahuas here.
No, I like the
it's
Chihuahuas,
dead.
but would I
Sorry,
I
Joe.
prefer a Star Wars one? Of course. Like I'm stuck with like either like that shitty ass like green card or like you have the
The
Chihuahuas, man.
Locos.
Yeah.
I have to go with the Chihuahuas, obviously, right?
Dude, you talk about the sheer like non-effort that the GC puts into their cards because those things fall apart. They're like super thin. I work in retail, so like we get a lot of customers who have like them and they're just all torn apart and we have to stick like a paper behind their card so that way our card readers can actually read them. And they're GCU. I mean, get a real bank. What are you doing at a credit union?
Yo,
It's a credit union.
So this is a piece of advice for those that don't know. When your card starts to peel, like because it'll eventually like deteriorate or get wasted enough, or like there's a little plastic coming off. Don't take off that plastic. They use that plastic because
the magnet is on there, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like I've known a lot of like people that like, oh look at it started peeling, so I took off that plastic and now my card won't work, and I'm like, no, you're dumb.
I actually have a.
Go ahead,
I was just
Joe.
gonna say I don't have that issue because I actually have the Apple's titanium card in my wallet. Not in my wallet because
fancy.
It's too. Apparently, it's too brittle to put in your wallet, so it's pretty much like just a card that you look at and never touch.
For us common folk, dude, we can't get that Apple card, so with the GCU card.
How'd you even get an Apple card, Joe? What the hell? I feel like I've been sleeping on that for a while. Doesn't it not even have like a strip or like even like a chip in it?
Dude, it is super sleek. Like it's just a white card. It does have a chip, I believe. It's just a white card that says your name on it, and then it has the chip on it. And then on the back, I think it has the bar strip. I think.
Oh,
I haven't looked at it since I got it.
That's some bougie stuff.
Because literally it's like a masapan. Like as soon as you touch it, it just crumbles.
It literally comes in a cardboard box, like a little cardboard slip. And I've pulled it out of that slip once very carefully with like 3 layers of gloves. And it's kind of like a freaking Pokemon card. Like I'm freaking looking at a TCG 10 Master card right now. I just pulled it out of the
Charizard.
box, looked at it, and then put it back. And it's sitting in my closet right now. I don't want to pull it out ever again.
Hey,
That makes sense, man. You know, like you wanna ruin your card.
I'm looking for that 9.5 at least. I want that 9.5 TCG.
Yeah, you're gonna send it to Beckett and get it graded and everything, right? To a safe bet. You're gonna have like a little picture frame ready for it and everything.
Yeah, it's I'm double sleeving it. I'm ready to send it in.
Well,
As an anime podcast, how do you guys feel? I mean, Pokemon's kind of it relates. How do you guys feel about the massive Pokemon card craze?
All
Oh,
right,
yeah.
so let me tell you a story, my friend. So it all started when a couple of YouTubers decided that it was okay to open cards and for very expensive needs, uh, or like wands, I guess, very expensive wands. And all of a sudden, right, your
All of a
podcast,
sudden,
all of a sudden, no, they ended up, someone ended up buying this one booster box for a ridiculously large sum of money.
Mhm.
Now, no one in the Pokemon like community was like, "Hey, that's a good idea." Quite the opposite, right? Because at the beginning, everybody was like, "Oh my God, here goes!" Like we just needed that one YouTuber to fuck up the market, and surely enough, my friend, surely enough, like the market just went crazy. It started with this pack. It was called Evolutions. No one wanted it. No one. Literally, they would like Pokemon would slip it into like all these like boxes and stuff to try to like fill it.
that's
Like
the one
as
that kind of redid the original booster,
exactly.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, you know. So yeah, no, like they would slip those everywhere. Like no one wanted it because again, they're a reprint of the originals. They're not the
Mhm.
originals, and nothing was really worth. Like, get me the money, like to get it. Even the
Yeah.
Charizard in that set was like, I think it was like $50 at one point, which was not a lot for a Charizard. Um, and this YouTuber decided he wanted to buy, I think it was like a $3,000 booster box just because he can. And so everybody was like, "Hey, it must mean that these are worth something." So then the market flooded, dude. Like everybody and their mothers wanted to buy booster boxes. Everybody wanted to get evolutions, and
I
it
think
just
that Charizard ended up going up to like
200,
3 to
300.
8. Yeah, like 3. I
yeah,
think the max it sold for was 8. I think somebody sold it for
really.
8 somehow. Yeah.
It's so dumb, man. It's really the whole market got like inflated out
Saturated.
of nowhere. Yeah, and it sucks because now to play Pokemon, it's like you kind of so in our times, like we used to play a lot of this thing called Expanded. And Expanded is basically you can use old cards in tournaments. And due to like people buying all these older sets, now we have to kind of like stick to the newer card game, which can get a little expensive, but it's not that bad. However, like it just feels like a struggle now. You know, it's even on the like the local pages for Pokemon, like we'll have like an El Paso Pokemon TCG page on Facebook. You get people like posting like, "Hey, if anybody's looking for this set, go buy it right now at Target before the scalpers get it." Because literally,
Yeah.
like all these scalpers are after the sets, man. It's so hard to get product. It's
Yeah, I was
insane.
just looking at my local Walmart and it's stripped.
Oh
Like all the
yeah,
Pokemon is gone. It's just Yu-Gi-Oh and I think some Magic, but all the Pokemon is just
let's
not
do it,
there.
Joe. Let's bring Yu-Gi-Oh back. We'll do the original.
Flip the market on that.
I
I
want
mean-
Legend of Blue Eyes. I want my Exodia pieces to go back up and not be like 50 cents anymore.
An original DMOC first edition.
I mean, every card game has like had its mess ups, like in terms of like trying new formats and stuff like that. but none have messed it up as much as Yu-Gi-Oh has. So good luck, my boys.
Fully agree. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to go actually like join a tournament because I was like, oh, you know what? It's been a while. I kind of missed this game. I was going through like the old flip book and like, hey, I could start like building decks because it was around the time when the app came out, and I was like, hey, this is fun. Like I remember this game being like a whole lot of fun, and I built like about 6 different decks to take with me to the tournament, and then I ended up finding out something about like link monsters, pendulum monsters, XYZ
XYZs,
monsters, and I'm just like, wait, what? So I don't need to like summon normal summon, then
QRXTVs.
yeah. I mean, I was like, okay, I got rituals, I got polymerizations, I got the regular even synchros. I got synchros kind of down.
The
But when
Pipiti Paparas.
yeah, dude. But when it came to like all this other BS, I remember I summoned like maybe like 2 monsters my first turn. I was like, all right, I'm pretty good. I think I'll be set. And this guy just he keeps doing like this thing, and then he goes through like his extra deck, and I'm like, what the hell time is it? Like I feel like this one turn has taken like about 30 minutes, and he's
And
still
the
like
yeah,
he's not even explaining anything. He's just like kind of he expects me to know what the cards are doing. And I'm just like,
Yeah, noob, you know.
yeah, I was like, what the hell are you even talking about? And like he literally like one shot me, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm never doing this again. And I just left. I told the guy like, you know what, I well, I didn't forfeit because I was like, you know what, I paid like $5. I'm gonna keep going, but I lost. I think I only won one, and it was like sheer dumb luck that I won. I think what was that card, Joe? Oh, Wall of Destruction. That was the one that saved my life, but I don't know.
No,
Still an
I
OP
feel
card.
you, man. I used to be a competitive player, to the point where I actually got an invite to nationals. I
Hmm.
ended up topping in a regional, and I got invited to go compete in nationals. Um, and I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. Either you spend the money to buy the top tier decks, or you're not gonna play at all. Even with the top tier decks, sometimes they'll just lock you out, and you don't even get a turn. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, you usually you have to get like that first hit, or your SOL,
At
because I
first hit.
yeah.
exactly,
No,
man.
and Pokemon does a good stuff where like you can be viable in tournaments with just the starter decks that they provide, which like again, I mean, you can buy stuff like the shiny stuff, the competitive quote unquote meta, but you're still viable doing, having the meta as the starter decks. You buy one or two of them and you're good to go.
Yeah,
And Magic the Gathering does similar, I've heard. But
Yeah, well, I
depends.
mean, they all kind of like came off of like Magic. No, that was kind of like the pseudo uh card game, so to speak.
yeah. From what I understand, yeah, Magic was like the original card game in terms of like monsters on the field. However, like right now, Pokemon, for example, and I'm gonna be advertising them for a little bit, even though they don't pay me. But for like $25, you can buy these things called battle constructor decks or whatever. And basically they come with the top tier deck out right now, and it's basically you buy one of it again, $25, and you have the meta deck of of right now. So it's pretty nice, in terms of like, hey, you know what, like I don't really have cards, but I want to start playing. What's my move right here? And it's like, oh, well, just go buy this one deck and you're good to go. And it's like, okay, nice, it's very nice like that. And it's also not as expensive as Yu-Gi-Oh. Literally, Yu-Gi-Oh. I would go out and spend about $600 in one deck. It was insane.
Yeah, I know the struggle. Well, I mean, even when I was buying like the normal like even 50 cent cards or something like that, you would still need to buy like a $60. I think the meta card of like the of that tournament was some card called Ghost Ogre or something like that, because it just did so many things. But back then there was no reprint, so I think it was like about
So saying he had a lot of layers.
yeah, it had a lot of layers, man,
Yeah,
like
a bunch,
onions or like parfait.
Like a
or
parfait.
like
Or
ogres.
like Shrek.
Yeah,
I forgot who had shared it. I think it was Jacob the other day. He had reminded me about I think it was the second one where they kind of do like a cops ripoff.
Yeah.
Like Shrek he's trying to like get into the kingdom, and they're like pepper spraying him, but with like a pepper
With
shaker.
actual pepper.
Yeah, and he's like, "Ah, ah." And then they're like arresting Puss in Boots, and they pull out
He
like
drops
some,
catnip.
yeah, that's
He's
not
got
mine.
catnip.
They
So
like
dumb.
sniff it too. I don't know, man. That man, that still tickles
Those
me.
movies are so good. First two movies are so good.
Honestly, especially the first one, dude. I love the first movie. It's just a classic, you know.
Yeah. Still need to see Shrek the Musical. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it's on my to-do list.
Isn't the
Shrek
dude?
the musical?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you-
So
are
it
you-
looks
wait, are you
so dumb.
serious?
So dumb.
Did you ever hear or do you remember, Joe, that Spider-Man musical or the Spider-Man play?
Yeah, I think it went to Broadway. That was something I wanted to see.
Yeah, apparently it was just like the worst show of all time, and it was
Aw.
just like everything that could go wrong did go wrong with that production. I think I even remember when it happened, one of the performers who was playing Spider-Man, didn't he like get injured because some of the wiring wasn't working or something like that?
I'm not sure.
I have
It's
no
been a
idea.
minute, but I remember hearing I don't know if it was another podcast or something, but they were talking about it, and they were just, they had all these investors, they did all this stuff, and they ended up losing like a ton of money because it was just it wasn't good. And I think they kept whenever they do Broadway shows, they do like a kind of like a screening or something, like a free screening, just to kind of get like a public opinion. But
Yeah.
they had to keep doing those to try and get more and more people to try and come in to get actual paying customers, but it just wasn't working.
Kind of on the similar topic, some pretty cool news that Deadpool 3 is confirmed for the MCU, and it's confirmed to be rated R. So that's
I mean,
pretty promising.
does that mean anything? Because I mean, Deadpool 1 and 2 were rated R, and people still.
Well, it's
took the
because
kids
now
to the movie theater.
now Deadpool's a part of Disney, so that's why a lot of people were afraid that
true,
they're
true.
not gonna stay true to Deadpool.
Yeah, because this would
And now
technically
you
be
have-
their first rated R movie, right? Or something like that.
I don't know if it's Disney's first rated R movie, but it's probably the first one in years, and one as vulgar and as violent as Deadpool. Like, that's saying something.
And gory.
Yeah. And you're adding that to the MCU, like what could happen? Like, there's so many possibilities now of like Spider-Man finally messing with Deadpool or something like that.
I think they were saying he was actually going to show up in the new Spider-Man, weren't they?
Probably,
since they're doing like this whole like universe
coming
thing
back,
where like
yeah.
3 different Spider-Man and like 6 different villains. I think they're getting like 2 from each, right? Because it's Doc Ock and it's Doc Ock.
I think it's just Doc Ock, Electro,
Stro.
and whoever they're bringing in for the Homecoming or the current.
Okay,
Spider-Man.
so they got Vulture, right? And they got who's the other guy from
cross-gen Sinister Six?
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to get to you. It's a cross-gen Sinister Six. So you got Doc Ock, Mysterio, Vulture, Electro. All of these are the original. So all they need is, I think, Rhino, who was also an amazing
Paul Giamatti, the greatest Rhino ever created.
He was like the only Rhino
Rhino
with his mecha suit, and Goblin. But I don't think we've had Goblin yet. But dude, it's pretty hype. Like, honestly, I've been hyping up myself for that for a while. And
waifus.
I'm sorry?
But does it have waifus?
Yeah. Have you seen Aunt May?
Oh, you're right. Oh, you're right. Absolutely right, my friend.
So speaking of more Marvel news, the new WandaVision show just came out this past weekend. And by God, is it really good, dude?
You think so? I
liked it.
completely disagree.
Go for it.
I honestly like I sat down and watched the first 2 episodes, and dude, I was losing my head. I was so bored. I couldn't not get into it at all. I like that it's trying to be meta in a lot of ways, but a lot of things try to be meta, and I don't think they just did it in a way that like catch my attention. To be completely honest with you.
So you feel like maybe you've been like kind of oversaturated with like the meta commentary whenever it comes to like shows and stuff.
Maybe it's just me like being very critical. I mean, you told me it's good. You told me good. I was like, okay, heck yeah, I'm all for it. Let's try this out. It's in black and white. I was like, weird, but okay, I'll work with it. And it was just like
They did
old
a whole black and
school-
white episode, or is it
Two.
like
There's two black and
there's
white
two
episodes.
two black and white episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Ooh.
also in 4x3, like the
Yeah.
CCTV version.
Ooh, That's bold.
Yeah, it's really
it
nice.
is very
man.
bold, and I can appreciate that, and it was a little bit refreshing. You know, like this is definitely different. But what wasn't refreshing is that old timey like sitcom comedy. There's like, dude, I watched Nick at Night. Like I already I've seen like the George Lopez's. I've seen
Oh wow, that's a
Like,
throwback.
like I seen all of these sitcoms that have
That's
to
not
do with
even a hard enough throwback. We're
Yeah,
you
I was
talking
about-
Golden
Well,
Girls. You're
see-
talking Cosby Show.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
real
yeah,
sitcom.
yeah.
Three's
Okay.
Company.
I'll give you that, Joe, but I would have never
George
said
Lopez.
George Lopez. That's what I'm saying.
2001
Full,
George
Full
Lopez.
House, Full House. I've seen Full House. I've seen the
No, but I'm talking about like straight up black and white stuff. You know, like old
That's
stuff.
talking
Hanna-Barbera.
I Love Lucy.
Mhm.
Yeah. What's the honeymooners or what are they called?
Yeah, the Honeymooners.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Mhm.
like I'm talking about shit like that. Vito's fucking talking about
I mean,
George
okay,
Lopez.
but
Shit happened, like, yesterday,
you,
bro,
you
like-
see the reason I didn't see that is because I didn't like it. Like I
No,
saw.
you were too young. Like
No,
you weren't even
but
born.
I seen Golden Girls and stuff like that. That's what I'm trying to say though. It's like
Even
I-
Golden Girls is kind of new. Like no, we're talking about.
We're talking about like I Love Lucy, Bewitched.
Oh yeah, classic Bewitched. I think it had some black and white, and then it transitioned into color.
Yeah. Also, what's that other one that they did where there was like bits of color in it? It was it had Tobey Maguire in it too. Pleasantville.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, no, but
Oh, go ahead. Finish your
oh,
your
my
review.
rant.
Yeah,
I'm
your rant.
sorry. All I'm saying is that the comedy just didn't go with me, and the endings of each episode, like the parts where it's really trying to be meta, because it does it in the first episode towards the end, and then again towards like in middle towards the end of the second episode without spoiling anything, and it wasn't something that like, oh yeah, this is what makes it interesting. I watched 20 minutes of poor like ha ha comedy so I can catch up and to find something like meta about it. That was just my complaint about it, man. Like it just the comedy didn't stick to me. I was very bored.
I can kind of agree with him honestly. Like when I think Marvel, I think action. I think like really cool plot twists and stuff like that. And sure, like I feel like they're trying to set up for the plot twist. That's why you get those little cutscenes at the end where like the screen actually goes to the actual dimensions of your TV and different little things like that. But it's just like they're so, how can I explain this? Uh I guess they're so cliche. It's just the comedy's so cliche. It doesn't make sense. It even like freaks you out a little bit. For example, where like I don't know. We're talking about spoilers. I don't want to give way too much.
Well, the reason why it's okay with spoilers is because it's a TV show where it's a lot more easily
It's
digestible.
not okay.
I think it is because there's a difference between theaters and streaming.
Weren't you the guy who was angry that they kept spoiling Mandalorian for you?
That was day one though. This has already been a week. We're already gonna have a new episode.
Well, technically, you came out with 2 episodes. So that's technically 2 weeks worth of content in 1 week. So now you should give the people who haven't watched it an extra week to develop the previous 2 episodes.
From what I assume George was gonna bring up is a little minor scene that doesn't even really spoil anything. And I'm assuming it's the part with Kitty, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was like that was just kind of weird and creepy, and like it didn't make
But
sense to me. And I'm sure, like again, I'm sure they're setting up for something, but it just like to me, it's like we went from literally like a Bewitched episode to like I don't know, Pretty Little Liars or something like that. You know?
Yeah, I think I didn't have to sit down and watch those first 15 minutes to set all that up with Kitty, and for to have that little bit of payoff for something that they're trying to be meta about.
I can
Like,
understand that. Do you guys normally watch a lot of Marvel movies?
no, I actually don't.
Yeah, I actually do. I watch mostly all of them actually, and I even see some of the shows on like Netflix.
Hmm.
And then I also like try to keep up with all the side stories as well.
For this one, I think you mainly just need like the movies and maybe like bits and pieces of like what's that show? I guess Agents of Shield. You don't
Yeah,
really need to know like the full like lore. I would mainly focus on like even just the Avenger movies because that's where you see Wanda most of the time. But a big thing about Wanda is in the comics, her thing is reality warping. So the whole thing with this story is that we know that she lives in present day. She lives in today time, but for some reason she's been thrown back into like this 50s videotape where we even see at the end of one episode like it's an actual tape. And uh it's really intriguing because it's like it's giving you like these little pieces, and it's like, hey, stick around and maybe you'll.
Nothing happens to her at the end of Endgame, right? She's there at Tony's funeral.
Yeah, she's there because
yeah,
they're talking about because I forget who she talks to. I think it might be Falcon or somebody, but they talk about trying to bring back Black Widow and trying to bring back Vision, but they can't because
yeah,
they died separate from the actual stones. Like they died getting the stones, but they didn't die because of the stones, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
No,
Basically, yeah. Like, so all humanity died due to the Infinity Glove,
Yeah.
but Black Widow and
oh,
Vision
that's
didn't.
they didn't bring everyone back, right? Or did they? Is that how that worked?
They
For
brought back like 50% of the population for
So
everyone.
so Vision died because he had an Infinity Stone within him,
Yeah,
right?
and Thanos like crushed his skull and ripped it out of him, which was actually like a very blink and you miss it joke in the like first minute of the first episode. She like smashes a plate on his head, and she's like, "My wife and her, plates," and she's like, "My
flying
husband and
saucer.
his indestructible head." And I was like, "Oof, if only that were true."
Nice.
Yeah, no,
But
for me, I mean, it's just like I had a way more pleasant experience watching, like The Punisher, or watching what was the other one that I watched? Archer. No, it's not that show too. I like watching Archer.
I mean, Archer is really good.
Yeah, but Green Arrow, uh, over WandaVision. It's
I don't think I needed the action packed scenes like George feels like he did. I don't require that. I don't ask for that from MCU. Well, I just did not care for like what they was trying to do with that like fake, 70s comedy. I I,
Okay.
I I couldn't get it. Like it was not me, not at
Yeah,
all.
it's definitely a different generation of, I guess, nostalgia, so to speak. Because obviously like you grew up with like a different set of rules when it came to sitcom, whereas like the rules that they're trying to kind of stick with are back into like those 50s to 70s early sitcom.
Yeah, I can respect that. I mean, I understand it's out of touch, comedy.
Did
Come
you
and
end up
knock on
watching
our
it, Joe?
door. No, I have not seen it.
No. Well, I mean, there's a whole bunch of homages and respects to and stuff like that. I know the first episode is basically like an I Love Lucy episode,
Yeah.
and it was definitely like Beto was saying, uh, that kind of comedy where even like I just said, where she's like, "Oh,
And
my husband," and all that.
I'm a
other
huge
stuff.
fan of sitcoms, so I'm sure I'll enjoy it. I'll eventually get to maybe when more episodes come out and I can spend a little time watching it. Like I said, it's so hard for me to sit down and watch shows. I've talked about all the shows I've started and have
And
not
never
picked up any
finished,
of them.
like
Yeah,
Fire Force.
I legit just started watching Boruto, and
Why?
I know I'm not. I have all these other shows to finish, and I just
I'm
decided to
sorry.
put on Boruto for whatever reason.
Did you say
Yeah.
you're proud of him?
No, we're very sorry.
Sorry.
I mean, the movie is okay, but that's because you have Naruto and Sasuke.
Dude, they
For
had
most
to
of-
put the movie inside the anime in order for the anime to get views.
Yeah,
So just think about it like that.
it's I don't know, man. I dip in and out with Boruto. I definitely saw the episodes where he went back in time because that was interesting to me. But then right as soon as that arc ended, I stopped watching again.
Yeah.
But to dip back real quick, I highly recommend it. So by weeboo standards, would it be weeb shit? Would it be for the story, for the waifus, or what was the fourth one?
Yeah, no, that's those are the three. It's
The three?
you watch it for the story, watch it for the waifus, or this is weeb shit. So I would watch it for the waifus just because I feel like Scarlet,
Witch?
she, yeah, what's her Wanda is hot, bro. Like,
She is. In the second episode, she actually dresses in like a old timey magician's assistant outfit, and
dude,
top
in the
tier.
first episode, she comes out like in a nightgown. It's like, oh my god,
Yeah,
sexy, bro.
she's European.
Yeah, what a woman, bro. Like my brother says, right? What a woman. Yeah, that's great.
So watch it for the waifus from George. What about you, Veto?
Oh well, Kitty from the '70s show shows up. That's my waifu right there. So,
Honestly, that was my favorite part of that episode. It was really cool to see her back, and even the
it
set
doesn't
almost
even
looked
look like
like
she aged.
at all, right?
She
And,
looks exactly the same. Yeah, that got me out of surprise.
Joe.
Yeah, she does look very
I've not seen it. I can't say.
So watch it for the story. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
I would say definitely the top two. Watch it for the story and watch it for the waifus. Is really good.
Yeah, I don't think this is weeb shit because like it just
It's a
it's
little weird.
different.
I mean, if you consider the superhero genre weeb shit, then yeah.
By the way, guys,
Seriously.
I know that you guys normally do this when the other guys are around, but I just want to shout out the Buccaneers are kicking booty left and right. They beat the Saints. They beat Breeze. I'm hyped. I'm a Bucks fan. All I want to say is thank you, Brady.
Well, you got two Packers fans here, so that's why it's like
Oh,
I don't know, man. And then
my little Packers shelf up there.
We did go to the NFC last year too, huh? So this is like
Yeah.
our second
Yeah.
year that
Back-to-back championship year, but this time
appearances.
we're at home. I'm
I
feeling
know.
good.
I feel
Feeling
really
good.
good, man, and I'm honestly really excited to see this. It's like I told Jacob last episode. This is the event I've been waiting for. I knew it was too early to call it last week. Excuse me, because anything could have happened. Maybe they would have lost to the Saints. Maybe, yeah. I mean, that's really the only variable. I wasn't too afraid of the Rams, but I'm hyped. I'm pretty. I think this is gonna be a good. I want to say episode, but good.
Good game.
A good addition
game.
of the NFL.
A good edition of the NFL season.
a good
Yeah.
broadcast of
Brought to you by Fox or wherever channel they're on this time, ESPN. Well, anyways, guys, thank you guys for stopping by. I don't know if you guys want to give your
Plug.
your plug. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, definitely, man. So for those who don't know us, guys, we are Jorge and Vito from the podcast We Booze. And we basically get drunk and talk about anime. That's technically all we ever do in real life. So we're like, hey, man, we can do this in real life and have a good time. Why not do this online and also have a good time and maybe even get paid for it? And so that's how it all started, guys. And it's honestly been great. A lot of support. We've had a lot of support from a lot of good friends, including you guys. From all of a sudden, honestly, guys, you guys are awesome. Julian, like you've gotten me out of some like tight spots where it's like I'm looking for a guest. It's like who do I message? It's like Julian. Okay, yeah, and you'll like jump on like 5 minutes before the show starts. So like I appreciate that, guys. You can catch us on Twitch on twitch.tv/weeboos. You can catch us on Facebook at Weeboo's Podcast. Or no, actually at Weeboo's 915, and then also catch us on Instagram at Weeboo's Podcast. And we're all over the place, guys. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, shit, I don't know, man. Like
Anywhere
Pornhub.
you
We
can
have
get your
we
Yeah,
we
dude.
have Twitter, OnlyFans. Yeah,
Yeah, dude. The Twitter, the OnlyFans.
a good motto for us is that we drink anime and talk drunk.
No, we,
Drink
we
and
drink yeah,
talk
drink
junk.
anime and yeah, no, and watch liquor. Nah, dude, it's a great podcast. Check it out, guys. And again, guys, from all of a sudden, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Hey, thank you for stopping by.
Arigato gozaimasu.
I
We-
right before we end the show, guys. I also wanted to bring up I guess kind of like a remembrance. Yesterday was Martin Luther King Day, and I
Oh
wanted
yeah,
to
definitely.
give like a kind of like a little shout out to a great man who really kind of pushed the goal, the post forward. And
shout out to MLK.
shout out to MLK.
Wherever you are, buddy. Shout out to you.
man.
Yeah, no,
You-
definitely.
I mean, I just wanted to bring up the fact that he was a hero to the civil rights movement. He was a really amazing man. I know there are a lot of stories that come up about like, oh, he wasn't the great man that and love and all this other stuff, but um we all have our faults. We all have things that we might not be too good at, but I don't think the bad should always outshadow the good, or even the good should outshadow the bad. I think we all you kind of have to take it at a whole, and at a whole, along with like Rosa Parks, George Washington Carver, other people like that. um you know it's they're important for a reason, and it really goes to show how much of a great person he is. The fact that he's the only African American person who has a holiday, who wasn't a president, wasn't a politician or anything. Like there's a reason why we celebrate that day for him. So uh I guess my uh homework for you or something is just to go out. I'm trying to find like the right words, man. And I'm trying not to slander or be weird about it, but
No,
Maybe you should
I
have wrote
got
some
you.
goddamn notes like you did for WandaVision.
No,
well, I the thing is I can write as many notes as I can, but I like, even with WandaVision, I didn't really, I only wrote like one word notes, and that's similar to what I have here.
Yo,
um
Julian, I think you're doing a pretty good job. I mean, it's sometimes hard to see like the hero and someone that's highly respected is not perfect person. And
Mhm.
yeah, he had his faults when he was alive, but who hasn't?
Mhm.
He still was a very big influence and inspiration to a lot of people and pushed the boundaries that our nation needed to be pushed at the time. And the important part is that he did it peacefully, despite all the things that set him back.
Exactly. Thank you.
One thing that we should note is he taught people back then, and he's still teaching people right now. I think that's very important. Like you said, like Vito said, like maybe he did do questionable stuff back when he was alive, but who hasn't? But it's very important to note that we're still learning from him. It's not something that it happened back then, so why should we care? It's like, no, it happened back then, and shit, like it's even happening right now, and it's important to know what he stood for, and definitely learn from him, his experiences and whatnot.
Exactly. So I guess what I'm trying to say, and like Jorge even brought up, is he's still teaching us today. So what I would hope for you guys, if you haven't, is normally we spend a day, but why not, make it, I guess, kind of like a week to go out there and maybe, consider listening to some stories, watch a movie. There was a documentary, I believe, on Hulu that I had seen uh, about like a week ago. I know there's a bunch. I mean, definitely the speech itself. It's all over YouTube, all over. Like you can find it anywhere. Um, just go out and learn. Some history and learn why these moments and why these people are important and why we need to progress and why that why we uh, are so, I guess, privileged to not have to go through what they had to, and why uh, how great it was for them to move the goalposts, even for us as Mexican Americans. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely get you, man. That's completely. I think that's a very, you know, good opinion, and it's definitely a step forward. You know.
Mhm. And
Pretty.
as always, guys, thank you again for watching. We do have it feels weird to like do merch, so I'm probably not gonna do it. But definitely find us, find Weeboos in the places that they said. You guys can find us on YouTube at 107 Productions. You can find us anywhere on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at All of a Sudden Pod. We're available on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, you
Anywhere you
name
get
it.
your podcasts.
Yeah,
any
wherever you get
platform.
wherever you get your podcast sold. Um,
Well, I
we
mean, I would say, I mean that's a very nice shirt, bro.
Thank
And
you.
a lot of your guys's like like the money that you make goes to charities and stuff like that, goes back to the community. So I mean, where can I find those shirts, bro?
You can find them at T Public. I believe they were on sale like this past weekend, but I think they run a sale almost every other weekend.
Yeah.
We do donate to charities. I've been wanting to actually talk about it with you, Joe, for a bit. Maybe designing something different for this year. But we'll talk more about that later. Um, I do still have stickers actually available. So if you guys want to kind of I have them here actually. If you guys would like one, reach out to me, help support, the Black Lives Matter movement and whatnot, and we'll get them out to you.
What a nice doggo.
Oh
Dude,
yeah.
honestly, those stickers are sick, dude. I'm not gonna lie, they look badass.
Uh,
And I just want to go ahead and apologize ahead of, well, not, yeah, it's not ahead of time because I already did it. But sorry for all the cussing, guys. I'm just so used to cussing in our podcast, guys. So my
it's
bad.
fine. I wrote down pretty much all the timestamps when to go back and like kind of chop them. But
All
it's,
right, thank you, man.
no, it's
I
fine. It's
kept
fine.
doing
Don't worry
it,
about it.
kept staring at me, and I'm like, dude, I can't stop. I'm sorry.
Joe, do you have
I,
any? Oh, go ahead.
I was just telling, like, I was like, George be like, I'm sorry for effing like cussing.
Yeah, dude. I was about to say like I'm sorry for fudging, and like I was like, wait, no, that's already a cuss word.
No, you're good, man. I'll go back and kind of mute them or something.
All right,
Joe, do you have
uh,
any closing statements you want to talk about or anything?
No. Thank you all for supporting, and as always, we'll see you guys next week. This one's for all the smelly people out there. So thank you guys.
laters, dude. Smell
Laters,
you
guys.
later.
Stay sunny.
Bye.